never thought I'd be the person calling the police on my roommate, but here we are. I'm still not sure if I overreacted or if I did what any pet owner would do in my situation. I am a 27-year-old woman. Until last week, I lived with my roommate Jess, who is 25. We've been sharing an apartment for about 8 months. It wasn't a friendship connection that brought us together, just Craigslist and the need for affordable housing in our expensive city. We were cordial, but not close. When I moved in, I was upfront about having a cat named Oliver. He's a 5-year-old orange tabby I've had since he was a kitten. I showed Jess pictures before signing the lease, confirmed she had no allergies, and even offered to pay a slightly higher portion of rent to account for having a pet. She agreed to everything, though she did mention she wasn't really a cat person. Over the months, it became increasingly clear that Jess didn't just not prefer cats, she actively disliked them. She complained about finding cat hair on the couch even though I lint rolled regularly. She'd make disgusted faces when Oliver used his litter box. She'd move his toys if they were in common areas. Once I came home to find his food and water bowls relocated from their spot in the kitchen corner to right next to my bedroom door. Still, I tried to be considerate. I kept Oliver in my room when Jess had friends over. I cleaned his litter box twice daily. I brushed him regularly to reduce shedding. But Jess's comments continued. "Don't you think he smells? He stared at me all through breakfast. It's creepy. My friend's allergic. Can you keep him locked up this weekend?" Last Tuesday, I went to work as usual. Oliver was fine when I left, lounging in his favorite sunny spot on my bed. When I came home that evening, he was gone. At first, I thought he'd gotten out somehow, though he's strictly an indoor cat. I called for him, checked all his hiding spots, looked under furniture, behind appliances, everywhere. No Oliver. His food was untouched, his favorite toy was still on the floor where I'd left it. Something felt wrong. I texted Jess, who wasn't home. "Have you seen Oliver? I can't find him anywhere." Her response chilled me. "He's gone. I found him a new home. It's better this way." I called her immediately. No answer. I texted again, asking what she meant, where he was, demanding she tell me who had him. She replied only, "With a nice family who actually wants a cat. You'll get over it." Then she blocked my number. I was frantic. My cat hadn't just escaped. My roommate had deliberately removed him from our home while I was at work. I had no idea where he was, if he was safe, or if I'd ever see him again. I called our landlord, who expressed sympathy but said it was a roommate dispute he couldn't get involved in. I messaged mutual acquaintances, but none knew anything useful. I even drove around the neighborhood calling Oliver's name, though I knew it was futile if he'd been given to strangers. Finally, desperate and not knowing what else to do, I called the police. The officer who responded seemed skeptical at first, asking if I was sure my cat hadn't just run away. But when I showed him my text exchange with Jess, he took it more seriously. He explained that pets are considered property under the law and what Jess had done could be classified as theft. I filed a report providing Oliver's microchip information, photos and documentation proving he was mine, vet records, adoption papers from the shelter where I got him. The officer said they would follow up with Jess. 2 days later, I got a call. They had located Oliver. Jess had sold him for $50 to a family across town, claiming he was her cat and she needed to rehome him because she was moving. Thankfully, when the police contacted this family and explained the situation, they were horrified and immediately returned Oliver. He was unharmed, just confused and clingy when I got him back. I also learned that Jess had been arrested on charges of theft and obtaining money under false pretenses. Apparently, selling someone else's property and profiting from it is taken quite seriously. She spent a night in jail before being released, pending a court date. When Jess finally returned to the apartment, she was furious. She called me an insane cat lady who had ruined her life over just an animal. She claimed she was doing me a favor because the apartment would be cleaner without a cat and I would have more freedom without pet responsibilities. She said the charges could affect her job, her future rental applications, everything. I remained firm that she had stolen my pet and sold him without my consent, and that there were consequences for such actions. She moved out that same day, saying she couldn't live with someone who would call the police instead of handling things like adults. Our landlord called me afterward, saying that while he understood I was upset about my cat, getting the police involved was excessive and had now left him with a half-empty apartment mid-lease. He suggested I should have just accepted the loss and found a new cat, or at most taken Jess to small claims court later. Even some of my friends are divided. Most support me, saying they'd do the same for their pets, but a few have suggested I overreacted, that involving the police was too extreme for what was just a personal conflict, and that I've now potentially affected Jess's entire future over a cat. I don't think I overreacted. Oliver isn't just property to me, he's family. He's been with me through a major breakup, a career change, and a cross-country move. I can't imagine my life without him. When Jess took him, she didn't just steal an object. She took a living being that I love, caused him stress and confusion, and showed zero remorse for it. Still, I keep wondering if I should have handled it differently. Was calling the police really my only option? Did I go nuclear on what could have been resolved another way? If I hadn't involved law enforcement, would I ever have found Oliver? So, am I the jerk for getting my roommate arrested after she sold my cat while I was at work? Did I take things too far by involving the police instead of finding another solution?